I apologize for that. Let me know if you have sound. See if there's anybody in here. Oh, thank you. I don't know what that was. Stopped it, and started it over again. It's aggravating. Sometimes I think, I don't know. Don't seem like it was on my end, but I don't know. And obviously, I don't have Melinda here to help me. She's the one that handles all this. She knows a lot more about this than I do as far as doing the live. She normally does the computer work. But the roads were really bad, still bad. So she stayed at home. Wasn't no sense in having her get out for this weather. As a lot of you know, we had record snow day before yesterday on Tuesday. 7.5 inches, most snow ever recorded here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Broke a record that went all the way back to 1895. So lots of snow. We're not. We get cold weather. Some usually a couple cold spells. Couple times in a year, it gets down in the 20s at night, and then back above freezing the next day. So we get cold weather, but it never stays cold. We never get snow. I remember snow maybe twice in my life before this, and it was really more icy slush than it was snow. I look back. I posted a video on Patreon. We had real snow back in 1963. I think we had like 3 or 4 inches back then. That was really the last real snow that we had. So we get a little bit once in a while, but nothing like this. Yesterday, it got up above freezing just by a couple of degrees, just enough to start melting some of it. And then we were back in the 20s last night. It was 23. Now, a few minutes ago, right before I started the live, I checked the temperature. So all that melted snow, I'm sure, froze back last night. And the roads are going to be bad today. But we are supposed to get into the 40s this afternoon. So hopefully that melts most of it and maybe get back to some sort of normal this afternoon and into tomorrow. Tomorrow high is supposed to be in the 60s, like 64 for tomorrow. So that's uh, more our normal weather. And the thing about I know 6.5 inches of snow is nothing to most of y'all, but we don't ever get snow, so we don't have any de-icing equipment, no snow plows, nothing like that. Usually, when we do get freezing temperatures, they'll put sand on a couple of the bridges to help break up the ice so it don't stick together. And then after they have to come back pick the sand back up. So it's it we just don't used to. We're not used to handling it. We don't have it. So it pretty much shut a lot of the area down. There's a big section of I-10 still closed in Florida from the Alabama Florida line. I think all the way to Crestview is still shut down. Sections of I-10 through Mississippi is shut down. I-65 north out of Mobile shut down. Just a lot of ice on the road, no way to handle it. So it's it's different for us, but we're going to be back to normal soon. And if you got any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. All the horses are fine. Uh, no, hey Nadine from Norway. I think we've spoke a few times before. All the horses are fine. They seem perfectly happy. Uh, got some pictures of the cows in the snow. Um, that's pretty neat. Um, so a lot of that stuff that y'all are used to seeing, the horses in the snow, we don't see that very often. Uh, -10 Michael, yeah, that's cold. -6, Nadine says. It's cold, and we're not used to handling it. That's really the main thing. Our winters are normally 40s and 60s. So when you get outside of the normal range, you're not used to handling it. You're not equipped for it. Yesterday, when it got above freezing, we didn't find any broken pipes. We had water to all our troughs. The only thing that was broke is I keep a timer uh, going out to the troughs and all the pins. And that's mainly so if somebody pulls a float switch out of a tub, the timer will shut it off. Broken timer, not a big deal. Uh, 32 degrees outside of Nashville. We shouldn't be colder than Nashville. Lisa, we did just get through a cold snap. Air temps 13 below and wind chills of 40 below. That is freezing. Luckily, we had a little bit of a breeze when it was snowing, but luckily we didn't have much wind, which was nice. It would have been a lot colder if we'd have had wind to go with it. So luckily we didn't have much wind. Normally in the wintertime, that's what keeps us from getting this kind of snow. We get a little bit of that wind off of the Gulf, and that normally keeps it warmer. But they actually called what we were having Gulf effect snow because of where the low pressure was sitting and the moisture coming off the Gulf. Really crazy. So, and I know in the whole scheme of things, what we had really wasn't outrageous or unusually cold or anything, but we're just not used to it. All the horses are fine. If you got any questions, put it in the comments. I've got a question for y'all. I want to try to. I do the videos of all the horses in training, and I started out doing those videos mainly so the owners could see what I was doing with their horses. And a lot of people really enjoy following the horses through their training. And if you have any suggestions of how you would like to see those videos, or if there's something I'm not putting in the videos that you'd like to see, let me know. I'm looking for suggestions that would help you more and help make the videos a little more enjoyable for you to consume. It would be really nice to take and put together like one video of the horse throughout its training. And I've tried to do that a couple of times, like from the start to the finish in one video. And the editing time to do that is takes so much time. That's really hard to do. But I might try it again, and we'll see how that goes. The videos make a little bit of money, but they really don't make that much. And so it doesn't take much time of putting into editing, and I've got more in it than what the video is going to make. Most of the videos only make like $30 or $40 each, so it's not like this that much. I mainly post it as a means of so that the owners can see what I'm doing with their horses, and so that the owners can use it as a guide to what I did with the horse when they get it back. And so I'm interested to see what temps do I consider too cold to work a horse. Usually, if it gets down close to freezing, I don't want to be out in it. And most of the horses don't really care at that point. I think really my toleration for the cold is more what limits working the horse than the horse. Um, you got to be smart about how you do it, just like everything else. I'm not crazy about the cold, and usually when it gets into the 30s, I'm not too excited about going and getting on a horse. We don't have many days like that here typically. We just happen to have quite a few of them in a row here lately. So, but in different parts of the country, that's probably going to be different. Uh, some parts of the country, if you don't work a horse when it's down in 30s, you might never get to work your horse. One of the things, like around here, you've seen my covered arena. It's covered, but it's not enclosed. And the reason for that is we're wanting to get out of the sun in the summertime, but we're still wanting the breeze to blow through. So we really build everything more for working in the summer to make the summer more tolerable. In uh, in more colder areas, when you build your covered arena. Sorry, I'm trying. I was reading the comments, and I can't read and talk at the same time. Try to do a better job of that. In colder areas where you build closed-in riding arenas, I'm sure riding colder than 30 degrees is not a big deal. You're closed in. You might even have a heater going. They make some really good heaters nowadays. I'm sure it's if you got a covered arena or a closed-in arena, it's pretty easy to ride in pretty cold weather. Just depends on what you're used to and what you can dress for. Uh, a video answering a list of questions. I find a lot of very bad advice is out there on YouTube for common questions like biting. Exactly. That's a really good idea, Sebastian. And the there's so many um, videos on YouTube about everything, and a lot of the videos that I don't care for, and there's a cat in the background. Let's hope. A lot of the videos I don't care for. They use different ways of training, different ways of doing things that I don't buy into, but it isn't necessarily wrong. So you have to find somebody that fits your beliefs, and that's what I try to do. I show you what I do, and I think it's kind of common sense training, and I think it probably works for a lot of people. Let's see if I can run through some of these questions. Have you considered doing a video including the owner riding? I do that occasionally. I don't do it very often. Most of the owners do come and ride the horse before it goes home, but the comments on the videos are so harsh, and most of the owners they're working through issues and the ridiculous comments. And there's never usually most of the comments are positive, but those few negative comments, I really don't want to expose the owners to. So I don't do many videos of the owner riding. Uh, I'll do some once in a while, post it as a private video, and then send it just to the owner. But I don't care to post those publicly because um, it's hard on the owner. I had a video recently with one of the problem horses, and the bashing of the owner and how could the owner let this problem get so bad and why would the owner create this problem, and it was so negative to the owner, and the owner is reaching out. Sorry, I'm just getting over cold. I was cold during most of this or had a cold during most of this cold weather. The owner is reaching out for help, and it, the bashing of the owner was just ridiculous. So I don't do many public videos of the owner working the horse for that reason. I wish it wasn't that way, but the way social media is, that's how it is. And there's always negative comments, and there's always going to be. Nadine, I train until negative 13 Celsius like normal. If it gets colder, I usually only work them in a walk. Negative 13 Celsius, I don't think I could function. So, but again, that's what you're used to, and where you're at. If you don't train when it's cold like that, you're not going to get them trained. So, after training is done on the horse, do you do lessons with the owner to see if they can maintain what is achieved with the horse? That's from Mary. Just about all the owners do either lessons in person. Most of the horses, or many of the horses that are sent to me, are shipped in from out of state, and a lot of those would do video lessons after the fact. And so most of them we do lessons. They correspond, and do their best to keep the horse on the right track. I mean, they spent a good bit of money with me to help them and the horse, and uh, so most of them do make a really good effort to try to keep the horse on the right track. I think where the difference lies in, if you think about different trainers all over the country, and when I'm not the cheapest around. I don't try to be the cheapest around. I try to provide a really good service for a reasonable price. There are a lot of trainers out there that are cheaper than I am, but if you think about the owner that's going to send a horse to a trainer like me that shows everything on video, and it is not the cheapest out there, or if an owner is just going around shopping for the cheapest price, an owner that's just going to go around shopping for the cheapest price, excuse me, yeah, they're probably the horse is probably going to go back like it was because the owner is really not going to put the effort into it. But most of the horses that come to me, the owners genuinely put the effort into to try to make the best with the horse. And sometimes the horses just aren't a great fit. And that happens. And when that's the situation, I talk to the owner and we uh, try to place the horse with an owner that's a better fit and try to find a horse that's a better fit for that owner. That happens a lot. So the most of the riders, the owners rather, really go above and beyond to try to make things work with the horse. And so many the so many people, I don't know that an owner has to make a change in themselves to change the horse. And but most owners that I work with do. So let's see if there's a couple. Let's read off a couple more of these questions. In Western New York, a don't ride if the temperature gets into the single digits. However, they will hand walk the horse where I board so they get out of their stall. Single digits. That's pretty good. That's pretty cold. Uh, Here in Minnesota, if it if below zero, I don't ride anything. Above zero, I don't have it in. Yeah, it's in that kind of weather up north. If you don't have an indoor, it's near impossible. Southwest Colorado has been freezing during the day with 20-mile-an-hour per winds. It has not been nice. Yeah, I took a trip to Wyoming a few years ago, and I was blown away. I guess you'd say literally by the wind, the amount of wind that's there. Uh, it seemed like the wind speed was higher than the air temperature most days. Uh, we get a nice breeze here where I'm at, but it's usually 10 miles per hour. Once in a while, we'll get a little bit more, but it's usually just a nice, steady, light breeze. Let's see. Searching your content for specific problems seems to be a problem for me, but that might just be me. Um, so I have a playlist on YouTube that is titled "Working with Problem Horses," and you can scroll through those videos. There's a lot of them there, and usually by the thumbnail, you can have an idea of what the problem is. As far as like going back and titling it for specific problems, it's hard to do that when I title a video because each video covers so many aspects of a horse. It might be walking, trotting, steering, bending, biting, kicking, all in the same video. So to title it in a way that lets you know everything that I work in that video is really hard because I cover so much in every video. So yeah, I don't know how I would do a better job of that, but that is definitely uh, that finding those is an issue. I had somebody yesterday asked me about a video on spur use, and I knew I had done one, and it took me probably 30 minutes to find the video. So I definitely could do better with listing those videos some kind of way. Um, that's a good that's a good idea. Let's see. Unheated indoor arenas can actually be colder than outside. No wind or snow, but it's cold. Yeah, I know we see that, or I see that in my arena. Well, a cold morning, and we'll ride in my covered arena, and then you go outside in the sunshine and it's warmer. That is definitely that's definitely an issue. Let's see. Wildlife equine. We had this discussion, but also applies to transportation. I'm not the cheapest, but you pay for quality. That's exactly right. And I was in the construction industry for many years. I ran a pretty large electrical contracting company. We had like about 25 employees at its peak. So we're a pretty good sized company. And we never tried to be the cheapest. In the couple businesses that I've owned, I've never tried to and don't want to be the cheapest. If I want to provide a quality service for a reasonable price, whatever that is. And I have found that doing that, you end up with clients that are much more invested in the quality of the product that you provide. And I try to provide a quality product with the horses that I train. And it costs money, it costs time. And so that really goes for any, um, I think, any business out there. So if you like the live, if you would give me a thumbs up, and I appreciate that. I see we've got, looks like, I'm not sure about looking at these numbers. I'm never the one behind the camera. It's like maybe 51 with us and 18 thumbs up. So if you like the live, if you would give me a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. Um, use hashtags in description. Yeah, that's, I need to learn more about that. All this computer stuff I should be better about. But hashtags in the description would probably be very helpful. Let's see. Michael, what do you think about horses sweating during cold weather workout and using a cooler after till they are dry? So I would assume that a lot of that is going to have to do with your specific environment. Uh, if I'm riding a horse in the, say, 40 and 50-degree weather, they're going to sweat. Uh, our environment is humid, and even in 40-degree weather, they're going to sweat. So it's not an issue here. Now, if you're someplace where it's a good bit colder, I guess it probably would be an issue. And something else is if a horse has sweated, I always rinse them off. So it might be 40 degrees and the horse has sweat. I'm going to rinse that sweat off of them because that's not good for their body. But now I do have hot water in my wash rack. We're out of the wind. We can get pretty closed in. If you probably see my wash rack, and sometimes I'll put a cooler on them. Sometimes I don't. Um, it depends on the horse, and also it depends on how much you rinse them, where they're sweaty. Just because a horse sweated some when you rode him, if he just sweated under the saddle pad and you rinse him off, it's not really that big a deal. I'm mainly trying to get the salt from the sweat off of the skin. That is an issue here because of the humidity. We have a lot of rain rot issues here year round, summertime and wintertime. So trying to keep their skin clear is a constant. So I always rinse here. But now in different parts of the country, that might be a little bit different. Let's see. Sebastian says we allow horses to develop their winter coat but then clip the ones we work hard to reduce sweating. That makes sense. I hear um, in the fall it's extremely hard to blanket here because we might be in the 60s until midnight, and it might not drop down cold enough to actually put a blanket on until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And then by 7, it needs to be off. And that's our typical fall. So blanketing a horse, what I think is reasonable, is almost impossible. There are still people here that will put a blanket on at 60 degrees because they're trying to keep show horses slick. I don't really believe in that. I want a horse to hair up, be natural, and be a horse. And I think that's important for their health. And thank you for all the thumbs up. We're up to 36 now. And I think being natural is healthy for the horse. Uh, I don't body clip here. We typically don't, um, just because it creates more blanketing issues. Like I said, it might drop. The temperature might drop at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then you're going to have to be out there at 1 o'clock to put the blanket on. So um, I typically try to just let the horse be a horse. Uh, that's what we do here, but a lot of that's because of my climate, my environment. Our winters are typically very mild. Obviously, they haven't been last few days, but they typically are. We really don't find we have much of an issue in cold weather once we've done that. Yeah, and that's a lot of that is learning your environment and learning your horses, what you get in your horses, what they're used to, and what I do in my part of the country isn't necessarily right for somebody further north or in the West or Northeast or Europe. Is you have to do what's best for you in your part of the country, and that goes with blanketing or feed or care in general. Uh, our summers are pretty hot, pretty wet, pretty harsh, and a lot of what we do won't work in other parts of the country. In the summertime, we ride in way hotter climate, way hotter temperatures than most of the country. But it's what we're used to here. Just like y'all are used to riding in much colder temperatures than what I'm used to. We ride in a lot hotter temperatures than what most people are used to. Uh, 100-degree heat index isn't nothing here. If we quit riding at 100-degree heat index, we wouldn't ride in summertime. So it's just a matter of what they're used to. You got to be smart about how you do it, and the horses that I get in the summertime, they're used to it. That's normal for them. Uh, See, if a horse has been out of his stall for a month, would you recommend turning him out? If a horse has not been out of his stall for a month, would you recommend turning him out before riding him? Uh, First of all, I would not keep a horse in a stall for a month. I think that's really what your issue is. If a horse has not been out of the stall for a month, I wouldn't ride him unless he's been out for at least a week, just running and stretching his tendons and muscles and getting where he needs to be. Because if he's been in that stall for a month, he's going to be all bound up in his back, his legs. He's probably going to. I would not ride him at all after he's been in the stall for a month. I would turn him out. I um, think if you ride him without turning him out some, and I said a week, I think that's probably minimum. After being stuck in a stall for a month, then if you don't do that, you're going to be a lot of issues you're going to have. I would try to get the horse to a more normal situation before I'd start riding it. Laura, tips on getting back to riding after a few months off due to time change. Yeah, the time and where I'm at, we're in the central time zone, but we're actually on the far eastern side of the central time zone. And people don't, I don't think people put much thought into that, whether you're on the eastern side of a time zone or the western side of a time zone. And when you're on the eastern side of a time zone, at whatever the sun is at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, that sun is almost an hour different than it is on the western side of that same time zone. So if it gets dark at 6 o'clock on the western side of the central time zone, that means it's going to get dark at close to 5 o'clock, 5:03 maybe, when you're on the eastern side of that time zone. And so where you are in a time zone makes a big difference. And I think that that's why there's so much division in the U.S. about time zones and going back and forth daylight savings time. I know we flew into Las Vegas a while back, and it was in August, and did some sightseeing into Arizona. And the time changes had me just so confused. Uh, Going to Nevada time zone and then driving back and forth into Arizona, because Arizona doesn't do daylight savings time. I believe that's how it was. So the time changes uh, had me lost. So I personally, I wish we'd stay on daylight savings time year round, but that's also because I'm on the eastern side of my time zone. If I was on the western side, I'd probably like it at regular time. And I don't know, in other parts of the world, do they do daylight savings time like we do? Does the time change in the summer, in the winter? I'd be interested in hear that. I don't know. I know not all the states in the U.S. Do daylight savings time. Uh, Jarrett, thank you for all your hard work. Thank you, Jenny. Had to put my glasses on. Thank you. I enjoy doing it. Sebastian says we do daylight savings time here. I was curious. Where are you in your time zone, Sebastian? Are you like in the middle? Are you towards the eastern side or the western side of your time zone? And I guess if you're towards the center of your time zone, you don't even really notice that. But I can get in the car and drive east just a couple of hours, and I'm in the eastern time zone. So that makes a difference here. Lisa says Ontario does daylight savings. In the middle, slightly west. So Sebastian said. So I think that makes a difference. And I don't know. I've thought of that. I don't know if other people do. I sit and think about weird things. Nadine. Oh yes, we do that in Europe, and it makes a lot of troubles. Yeah, I bet it does make a lot of troubles, and it makes a lot of trouble here. What I wish they would do is just pick one time zone, and everybody says regular time or daylight savings time. Why does it have to be one or the other? Why don't you just pick the 30 minutes in the middle and split the difference? But I guess that makes too much sense. I don't know. Mary, we have time changes here in Ontario. Few people appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, Melinda. Good morning, Melinda. She's joining us. Thank you. Let's see. I remember one morning we I got up. I taught Sunday school for quite a few years, and I got up and got dressed, went to church, and went to open the door. And right as I went to walk in, everybody came out. Time changed that night, and I forgot to change my clock. So just one of those situations. I time changed, and I didn't. That was a long time ago, probably before cell phones. Um, it's funny because my dad, every time the time changes, whether it's in the spring or it's in the fall, he always complains about losing an hour of sleep. And I tell him that, let's see, what is it, spring forward? fall back in the fall, he actually gains an hour of sleep. And he said, no, I don't feel like it. I think I lost that hour. So it's kind of funny. He loses an hour twice a year, an hour of sleep, whether it's spring or fall. Let's see, Angela says, I don't know if it's true, but growing up in Missouri, my grandpa said daylight savings was so he had some hired boys could get the alfalfa bales in the loft before dark. Angela, I think that's similar to the same story that I heard why daylight savings time started. But I think if I remember my history correct, I don't think daylight savings time started until more recent, like mid 20th century, but I'm not positive. Uh, in the 1800s, I think they just had they worked with the sun. If they it didn't matter what time it was, and that's kind of my thinking now. It doesn't matter what time it is. You only got hours of daylight. Whether you change the time one way or another, um, you only have so many hours of daylight to work with, and so I guess what time the clock says, really is pretty irrelevant, and it's that way in horse training too. What time the clock says, how long you've been riding is pretty irrelevant. It's the clock that's in that horse's mind that really matters. Let's see. Marianne says we are very affected by being on the eastern edge of time zone, especially since our medical appointments are in the next time zone. We're mountain 15 minutes from central. Yeah, you're very close to central time zone. You're closer than what I am to eastern. So yeah, that being on the edge of a time zone makes it especially hard. But I mean, we have to have time zones, I guess. Uh, I guess that would be kind of weird if we all worked on the what is it, Greenwich Mean Time, like ships and stuff too. But I don't know anything about that. But I guess if it's what we were used to, then that's just be what we're used to. Let's see. Dorothea says in Northern Ireland we have summertime too. We try to change it in the. We tried to change it in the 70s, but didn't work out. Too dark in the morning. Yeah, and I'm sure. I mean, I live. We're 30, roughly 30.5 degrees from the equator where I'm at right now. So we're not really affected by longer, darker winters as you are when you go further north. Of course, our winter days are shorter and our summer days are longer, but because I'm closer to the south, roughly 30 degrees from the equator, um, our days aren't as different as like when you go further to the north. So that's another thing that affects daylight time. A lot of people don't think of where you are as far as north and south. I know Alaska is called land of the midnight sun because of it staying, the sun staying up year round, and does in Canada too. I'm sure to a large extent, Ireland and Norway, you're affected similar too. Let's see. Nadine, they talked about stopping for years and it never happened. Every time we change, it gives us trouble sending time data around for offshore drilling data since we stream in real time. Uh, since we stream in Not sure what you're talking about there, Nadine. Since we stream, I don't know. That's it. I learned it. I'd like to hear more about that. I'm not sure what you're talking about, streaming in real time. Story I heard was in the war because it saves some money for lighting. Could be. I don't know. I don't really know the history of when the time change happened. I'm kind of a history nerd, but that one I don't know. Um, thanks for the super thanks, Melinda and Laura. Uh, Super chat, I think that's called. Thank you very much. I heard let's see. I heard daylight savings time was implemented so it would be lighter in the morning when kids used to have to wait at bus stops. What would you recommend for training a horse that raises its head very high during trot and canter transitions? So, a good question, Michael. Most of the time, when a horse is raising its head in transitions, it's because it's traveling very hollowed out in the back. Its back is hollowed out, very heavy on the front end, and the head is going up because it's trying to use its neck and body weight to lift the shoulders up. So, excuse me. So usually when a horse is transitioning with his head very high, it's because he's very inverted and out of balance. In that situation, you work lots and lots of the leg yields, bends, counter bends, work on getting him more round. I had a trainer, Rob Huddleston, tell me one time, if you know Rob, put it in the comments. He's a really good friend of mine. He said, don't worry about how high the head is, just lift the shoulders higher. And that's pretty much what I do. I don't. If the head is high, it's an indication that the shoulders are too low. So just lift the shoulders, round the back, and lift the shoulders, and that'll fix that issue. And that's going to affect uh, the quality of the transitions. And a lot of times when a horse is carrying its head really high, he's so heavy on his front end and not engaging the back end. A lot of times they have a hard time making the transition, and the a lot of times they do a lot of trotting through the transitions. That's usually the issue. And just lift the shoulders up, build the back muscles around the back, and the head will take care of itself. I don't ever really try to put the head any particular place. I make the body round, and the head's going to take care of itself. Nadine, Norway has midnight sun in the summer. I've never been any place that had that. I'd love to go visit. I've never seen Northern Lights. I think that'd be awesome. One day I'd love to go see that. Oklahoma passed legislators from Scott last year to adopt permanent daylight savings time if federal regulation is passed. Uh, I think I'd love to see the time not change. It don't really matter to me what time the clock says. It's just is what it is. So I think people are more aggravated with the time changing than just picking a time. What are your thoughts on liberty training from Mary? I don't. It has a place. A lot of people do it. A lot of people enjoy doing it. Uh, just all of my training, all of my direction is working towards showing mounted, reining, cow horse, ranch riding. Uh, I don't care to do much groundwork on my show horses because I want all the roundness, all the collection, all the body control to come from my seat and my aids. And for what I do, liberty work really is counterproductive to how I want to teach my horses to move. But that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. A lot of people like to do liberty work. There's nothing wrong with it if that's what you enjoy and what you want to do. I've got a Hope came to visit, uh, but it's just a matter of what you want to do. There's nothing wrong with liberty training, but it doesn't fit in my program. Uh, from Seneca Ball, can you please say a little about how you decide from horse to horse on using one approach or another to solve a problem? So I think that it's a little bit of experience and it's a little bit of trial and error. I know I've worked a lot of horses over the years, and I generally know what generally works for a situation. I know where I'm at with the horse. I know where I want to get to with the horse, and I'll try different things. And that's like, let's say, for instance, I have a really hot horse, a horse that's wanting to go forward, and I'm working on speed control. I mean, generally, I can let the horse move forward in a small circle so that the horse wants to slow down. Or I can take that horse and I can turn him towards the fence, back and forth. Every time he speeds up, turn him to the fence. That's two pretty common ways to slow down a horse that's wanting to get fast. And I generally uh, pick whichever one I need to help the body, because usually when a horse is wanting to speed up, it's because the horse is heavy on its front end and not balanced and wanting to speed up. So I usually work uh, whatever exercise I know that's really going to help the root of the problem, because the hot horse running off is just a symptom. The root of the problem is how he's carried, either how he's carrying his body or how he's uh, taking my aids. So usually, if they're not taking my aids well, I'm going to go in a small circle so I can work my aids. If the horse is heavy on the front end, then I'm going to turn towards the wall. So I'm going to use whichever exercise that I know of to help whatever is the root of the problem. Um, so that's how I decide. The exercise or whatever I use is going to be an exercise that actually helps the root of the problem. Every time a horse is doing something that you want to change, that something is just the symptom of the problem. That's never the actual problem. So you have to look at what the actual problem is and work the exercise or come up with an exercise to help that problem. And most horses don't carry themselves very balanced to start with. They don't know how. So that's why a lot of it starts with the bending and counter bending and the leg yields and lifting the body up. That's where most everything starts at. So Nadine says you stream data every 30 seconds to a server somewhere in the world. When we change time, we jump 1 hour, and then there's our gap in data sent. Worse when the clock is set back. You have a data sent 2 hours. Huh. Didn't know that. That's interesting. Melinda says this snowing is getting old. Y'all can have your snow back. Yeah, I'm definitely I'm definitely cold, tired of the snow. Wild Equine, you have a yes, thank you. I do have Patreon, and it's Tim Anderson Horse Training on Patreon, and that's where I post more of my in-depth specific training videos. And I have a couple of different membership levels there. The lowest level gives you access to all of the training videos, and then I also make posts that I'm trying to kind of feel like you're part of the barn family. You're there watching what goes on, and that's another level. And then I have a third level where you get a free video lesson a month. So yes, I do have Patreon, and I have a lot of videos there. Here on YouTube, I mostly post videos so that you can follow the training of the horses that I have in training, so that you can see their progress and see what I do. So Patreon is where I have a lot more in-depth information. Thank you, Dusty. I see Nadine. Any tips for my youngster? Now 4.5 for draft. He's perfect out of the out on the trails, both in a group and alone. But in the arena, it's just a no-go. So if he's not wanting to go in the arena, you're going to have to figure out a way to make the arena more interesting. A lot of times you can put obstacles out there that can make it interesting. Tarps, cones, poles. Me, because of the way my training system is set up, if I have a horse that just doesn't want to go in the arena, we'll start pushing a cow around. We'll put a cow out there with us and get some go that way. I know a lot of people don't have access to cows, but something to help him get interested in the arena. And 4.5 years old is that's probably the hardest year to train a horse is their 4-year-old year. They're at that age, they're kind of feeling their own. They're kind of testing their boundaries, and they're probably testing no to see how you're going to handle him saying no. So try to make it more interesting, and maybe you can get a lot of your arena training done out on the trails. A lot of people forget about that. Everything that you can do in the arena, you can do out in the woods. Stop a minute and work on some bend, counter bend, and circles. Leg yield sideways across the trail. Work some circles around some bushes. You don't have to train in an arena. There's a lot of work you can get done um, in a. Thank you, Seneca Ball. Thanks for the super chat. There's a lot of work you can get done in on the trail riding. So you might spend the next 6 months, a year, not even training in the arena. It doesn't have to be done there. Gail had to laugh about Groundwork. I know somebody who trains with Smoke and Mirror national trainer 6 years and still not actually riding. It happens a lot, and there's I know a lot. I know good trainers that really primarily do groundwork. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. But if you find a trainer that does what you want to do and work that way. There's different trainers with different goals and different personalities, and everybody has different goals and different objectives. That is. Let's see. How old were you when you started riding horses? Is there an age you recommend introducing riding to a child? So I started riding horses. I was 15 years old, and I wanted to go on a date, and she wanted to go ride horses. So I learned to ride horses so I can go on the date. And way back then, uh, you're never too old to start. Uh, as far as how young, as far as actual productive lessons, I have found that about 7 years old is a good time um, for actual where you can give instruction and make progress. I actually started. If you know Alex, she's been in a couple of videos. I started giving her lessons at 4, and it was uh, it was a challenge. But now she's uh, 11 now. Pretty accomplished rider. She can ride full reining patterns. But generally for most kids, about 7 for actual instruction. But younger than that is fine to get them comfortable with horses, brushing horses, getting them used to how to handle the horse. There's nothing wrong. I'd start them just as soon as you can get them out uh, petting on a horse. Never too young, never too old. Got to drink something. I had a pretty severe asthma attack last week, and kind of got my system down. It took me a while to recover from that, and then after that, I don't know if I got the flu or something after that, and just kind of struggling to breathe and to get by. It's gonna be okay. CC, how would you handle a horse that only wants to lope? I asked for a collected walk, and she will work her way to a trot and lope without any command. The horse is inverted and heavy on the front end. Work on frame and work on lifting the shoulders. That's actually a very common issue for horses that are not engaging their back end. Uh, Work on leg heels when you're walking, and don't tell her don't lope, but make it just like what I said earlier as far as rollbacks. Get her work like a 5 meter circle against the wall doing rollbacks. I've shown that exercise a few times. It's going to be all about getting her to round her body and use her body correctly. I've worked a lot of thoroughbreds off the track, a lot of them. And I used to have a couple of owners that would send them to me when they pulled them off the track. And some of them had won like 6 figures racing. Uh, and it's really not that hard to restart them as long as you don't get into a fight. Round their bodies is really what it all comes down to teach a horse to rate its speed better. I see Roger is in here. How's your foot, Roger? He he's having some issues with his foot. Supposed to have surgery on it, I believe. Uh, Charmaine, I have a youngster that I put one ride on, and that ride he would not go forward in a circle or straight. He side passed only. Should I put more pressure on him to go forward? So if it's first ride, normally they don't know how to carry weight their first ride. Um, I would give him a ride or two before I put a lot of pressure on him. I'd go back to your groundwork, make sure that he knows your walk cue from the ground. And usually, if they still don't want to walk off, then I will pony him from another horse, or maybe have another person pony you on him. Usually, that first couple steps is hard for a horse to take, but once you get past that, it's not hard. But I would not go to more pressure immediately. Make sure he knows his go cue and give him a buddy to follow. That's really the easiest way without putting more pressure. Uh, Nadine, that is actually what we did lately. Trade out on the trails. Yeah, that's great. Carolyn, thanks for sharing your thoughts and talents with us on this cold morning. Uh, Coming from west of Gainesville, yeah, you probably got some cool weather too. Thanks for joining me, Seneca. That is so cute. Nice story. I would have thought you were born into a ranch family. Uh, no, actually, I was born and raised on the point in Biloxi, Mississippi. Uh, I don't know if you've ever been there or ever heard of it. A lot of people in the Air Force go through Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi. That's where I was raised. My family was actually part of the first settlement uh, in Biloxi in 1699. That was actually before either Mobile or New Orleans was settled. So we've been here a while. That's on my mom's side. On my dad's side, we came here in the 1840s, I believe it was. So we've been here a while. See, Emily says almost 35 and just got back into riding horses. Bought my first horse about 7 months ago, and it's been hard, especially since they sold them to me as beginner friendly, but it has not been. It's buying horses is so hard, and I put out several videos about what to look for and what to avoid on horses when you're buying, and take somebody with you. Get somebody to help you with working with your horse. I don't know if you're working with anybody. Video yourself riding by yourself. Set your phone up, get some video, and after you ride, look at the video, and it's a whole different perspective. And you can watch that video and say, "Oh, he did this, and I did that. If I would have done this, that would have gone better." So it's really helpful to look at that video of yourself. It's easy to do. We all have cameras on our phone, and it's amazing when you watch yourself and you think, "Oh, I thought my hands were doing this, or I thought my legs were doing that," and it's great help. And work with somebody local and see if that they can help you. I do video lessons. If you'd like to contact me about doing a video lesson where you video yourself and send me the video, and I'll voice over instructions on top of that. I do quite a few of those. If you're interested in that, Emily, just message me, and you can join Patreon, and you'll get a free video lesson a month at one of the Patreon levels. So you might be something that you'd want to take a look at. Michael, thank you. Good luck this year competing and training. Thank you. Wild Wild Equine, got to get to work. Thanks a bunch. I appreciate you suffering through the temperature. Yeah, it's been cold. Roger says his foot is still an issue. Charmaine says, thank you for your advice. He did side place beautiful down the whole arena, though. It'll come. You'll get some forward. It'll come there. Louvre Ferry. Sorry, I'm not sure how to say that. My horse has gotten into a habit of balking when being led. She'll stop like a statue beyond turning her around and trying to get her momentum going. Is there anything else I can do to stop the habit? I would work on a little bit of lunging. Work on your lunging, and when the horse don't want to go forward, go into just lunging some circles around you. Right thing easy, wrong thing hard. Don't want to walk forward, make them lunge around you, make them work harder. Then when he wants to settle down, then just go back to leading again. And when you're leading, when he's balking and you're leading, is he balking coming into the barn, like going to work? Is he balking not wanting to go out? So think about the situation around why it's balking. If he balks because he's coming in the barn because he don't want to be saddled, then you need to address that. My horse has gotten into a habit of yeah, that's one I just answered. Thanks for all you do. Better soon. All the best from Vienna, Austria. Oh, I'd love to visit there one day. Thanks for watching from Vienna. So I think I'm going to end it today. Getting pretty hard to talk, and I appreciate everybody for joining me today. I appreciate the super chats. Very nice of you. And if there's anything I can do for you, shoot me a message. If you want to talk to me about video lessons or Patreon or sending your horse for training, send me a message. I'll be happy to talk to you about it. Until next time, thank you for watching.